Hey guys, what is going on today? BOJoeKO here, and we are back once again for our Week 3 recaps of our NHL YouTubers slash streamers Fantasy Hockey League. So once again, guys, if you want to go check out everybody's channel or Twitch stream or YouTube link or Twitter, all their links are in the description and down below, so make sure to go check those out. So, entering Week 3, we currently sit at 2-0 in first place in our division. And this week, we will be going up against MillerTimeGames. So I think this week's matchup was definitely going to be one of the more difficult matches, just by judging by the players on Miller's team. And a couple of his big name players did step up this week, but we shall see how the results panned out following this week's matchup. So I'm not going to go over all the league activity like I did for the past couple weeks. I don't think anybody has made any significant moves. I don't think me nor Miller added anybody this week via trade or adding off a free agency. So I think our teams were pretty static going into this week's matchup. So let's go check out the scoreboard and show you guys the Week 3 matchups results. And there they are. So I moved to 3-0 in the fantasy league this year, beating Miller by a final score of 133 to 118. Miller drops to 1-1-1. We had B Sync getting his first win of the year, beating Slime Man 118 by 2 points. We had Austin Richard Head beating Clappy, so he hands Clapperton his first loss of the year, beating him by around 14 points. Deke absolutely mopped the floor with the real Sykes this week, putting up 160, which is, I believe, the most points so far this year in the fantasy league. So I think that's the most amount of points somebody has actually earned so far through the first 3 weeks. Deke can thank Evgeny Kuznetsov for that game, getting him that 5-point night, getting him a total of 27.3 points for that entire week, which is pretty good for Deke. Spence picks up, and that sucks for Sykes as well. He drops to 0-3. Clappy 2-1. Austin is now 2-0-1. We have Spence picking up a win over Duke as Duke drops to 0-3, beating him by around 3 points. And then we have Best NHL Clips also moving to 3-0, beating X-Tech by a score of around 27 points. So the only 2 undefeated teams left in the league right now are myself and Best NHL Clips. But we'll get into that later, as we'll take a look at the full box score going up against MillerTimeGames this week. So, starting on October 19th was the first matchups here, and we'll take a look at our teams going into this matchup here. So, like I said, I don't think any of our players had made trades or anybody picked off a free agency. I'll go through the lineups just to make sure. But here's our lineups once again, if you guys have not noticed mine. Anze Kopitar, Gustav Nyquist, James Neal, Mark Scheifele, Yuri Laterra, Drew Stafford, Eric Carlson, Tyson Barrie, Mark Streit, Ryan Suter, Jaromir Jagr. My 2 goaltenders are Corey Schneider and Corey Crawford. And then on the bench, Patrick Kane, Henrik Zetterberg, Marian Hossa, Michael Raffel, and Martin Hansel. And then going up against Miller's team, and the reason I was scared about his team this week just because of all the really good players that he has on his squad. So Alex Ovechkin, that's one problem right there. Gabriel Landeskog, Henrik Sedin, Patrice Bergeron, Derek Stepan, Nail Yakupov, Cam Fowler, Jacob Trouba, Dion Phaneuf, Cody Franzen, and David Krejci. Now his defense isn't all too scary, but his offense does have a lot of threats on there. And goaltending, he had Henrik Lundqvist and Braden Holtby. And then on the bench, he has Mark Stone, Ryan O'Reilly, Jonathan Huberdeau, Alesh Hemsky. He does have Pavel Datsyuk, but he is on the injured reserve as of right now. And his other backup goaltender is Antti Niemi. So, the first match here, there was not many games going on October 19th, but he did have 2 players potentially could have played in that game. Derek Stepan against San Jose. They won. The Rangers beat them 4-0, but luckily for me, Lundqvist did not start that game, and Derek Stepan only got him 1 shot on goal for 0.3 points. So one of the games that I was, one of the nights where nobody was playing and didn't want him to get off to a good start, that's probably the best circumstance for me is to, have him only get 0.3 points from Derek Stepan. So nothing much to be seen there. Okay, so we move on to October 20th. And nobody was scratched on my bench, which is good. So what happened on this game? James Neal, once again, pretty Mr. Consistent again. James Neal always seems to get me those like 5, 6, 7, or 8 point nights in fantasy, and I really do appreciate that. 2 goals and an assist from James Neal, which was really good. 8 shots on goal. And I'm telling you, that first line time for James Neal is really paying off for him in Nashville. 1 hit, so 8.3 points from Neal. Laterra and Raffl only got 1 point apiece. Exact same stats, 3 shots on net and 1 hit. Hansel, 3.5 points still yet again. Only 1 assist, but it was a power play assist. So that pickup seems still paying off for me. I still kept a hold of him, and he's really still putting up the points. Straight only 0.5 points against that Dallas loss for the Flyers, and then Jágr only 0.8 against Pittsburgh. Corey Schneider did get the win over the Arizona Coyotes 3-2 in that kind of late game, and Corey Schneider got me 4 points that night, which was pretty awesome. And then we take a look at Miller's team. Ovi got him 6 points. Huberdeau only 0.8. Alesh Hemsky only 1 point. And then both those goaltenders did win. So he did have Braden Holtby and Anthony Niemi get the wins there. So 4 points each from the goaltenders for 8 points. So even after all the points he got, I still managed to beat him in the total of 19 to 15.8 to take the first lead of this matchup. Now we move on to the next day. We had a little bit of a weak night for me. Not many players got the points I really wanted them to get. Zetterberg and Nyquist were kind of quiet. Goose did get me 3 points. Raffl got me 2.8 points. Raffl was pretty interesting there against that game against Boston. He didn't get any goals or any assists, but he had 4 shots on goal and 7 hits. So 2.8 points from there, just from shots on goal and hits, which I appreciate. Streit was the real winner there. 3 assists, a power play assist, 7 points for Mark Streit. None of my goaltenders started, and I don't think I had anybody on the bench. Yeah, nobody on the bench. So there's my night for those guys, but Miller had a pretty good night from Patrice Bergeron and Nail Yakupov, 6 points apiece from them. Landy and O'Reilly, not much. David Krejci, 5.8, so his Boston players kind of went off. And no goalie started either, and Datsyuk, like I said, he was scratched, and nothing from Lundqvist. So he kind of took the lead back, or maybe it was tied by then. Let me see. I was over him by 16.1 to 19. So yeah, he took a little bit of a lead going back into the October 22nd game. So it was kind of a back and forth series until after the 22nd. That's when it really started to pull away. So he takes the lead back just by barely, a little bit. And then we start to get into the more games here where all the teams are kind of playing their game. So Patrick Kane, 9.5 points. Got myself a goal and 2 assists, a power play goal, a power play assist, and the game-winning goal for 9.5 points from Patty Kane, making that 10th overall pick really stand out. Kopitar and Hossa. This was Hossa's kind of one of Hossa's, the start of his kind of struggling games. He's been going back and forth a little bit. He might be somebody I consider trading pretty soon. And then this guy, Kopitar, he still kept up the lackluster performances, but he has been playing a little bit better as of late. James Neal, 2.8 points once again, another assist. Hansel, another assist there for 3.3. Erik Karlsson, 1.3. Suter, 3.3. Jágr, 4.3. And then once again, 2 more wins from my tendies with Schneider and Crawford, another 8 points total there. And then Miller, he had another 4.8 from Ovi. Stone got him 1. Henrik Sedin, 5.5. Stepan, 3.5. No points from Huberdeau. And then Hemsky and Fowler really didn't get him anything either. And then both of his goaltenders won. Again, Lundqvist and Holtby. And Niemi, he had him benched, but he did win against Pittsburgh. So obviously you can't start 3 goaltenders. But there was another 4 points just sitting on the bench there for Miller. But he does take another... did I win this game? Was this a 20 seconds? Yeah, I beat him by a good bit of points there. And that Kane and Jágr really helped me out with that lot in this matchup there. So I take the lead back going into the 23rd. Let's see, going into the 23rd, nobody on my bench once again. A couple games here, only three games that I had to keep my eye on. And everybody got 3 points, 3 or more, 2.5 or more points. Zetterberg and Goose paid off there. Kopitar got me 2.5 points finally, getting myself a goal. And then Scheifele and Stafford, 3 points again. The Winnipeg duo really doing me well there. Miller had a lot more games playing in this one. Ovi, 5.5. Ryan O'Reilly and Patrice Bergeron, 3.3 again. Yakupov, 2.3. Trouba, only 0.3. Cody Franzen got him 6 points that night, which I found really surprising. 2 assists and a 7-2 loss, and Cody Franzen still got him 6 points. And then Krejci, 3. And then nobody on the bench once again. So he did better than me the 23rd, but I still think I had a good enough lead over him on the 22nd to have my lead. And then the 24th is when I just completely ran away with it. Now, this was the troublesome part right here. I did have to make a decision of who I wanted to play in this game. Now, I had Yuri Laterra and Michael Raffl currently sitting on my bench, and I wanted to decide if I was going to possibly switch any of them out for somebody. Now, if there was going to be anybody I was going to switch out, it was either going to be... I think I was going to switch out... Who was I going to switch out? I think I was considering switching out Hossa for maybe Laterra. I didn't want to play Michael Raffl, and that was the good decision to make. Raffl only got 0.8 points that night, but that was the game against the New York Rangers where he took that elbow to the head, and he didn't play the rest of the game. So once he got hit in the head with that elbow, he was pretty much out for the rest of the game. So sucks for Michael Raffl. I think he's kind of back to normal now. He's still day to day, but glad he's okay, and glad decision I didn't decide to start him because that one only got me 0.8. Would have been 0.3 more than Hossa, but still. Laterra, I kept him on the bench. He got me 2.3 points once again. Kind of Mr. Consistent, getting me around 2 points a piece. But then everybody else, my goaltenders really got me really some good pointage here. Kane, 2.8. Zetterberg, 4.3 with an assist. Hossa didn't do anything for the past couple games. Goose, 4.5. James Neal, 3. Hansel didn't get me anything. That was a surprising... That was kind of surprising there from Hansel. No shots on the goal and no hits either. That was pretty surprising. Carlson, 0.5. That's all right. Strike, 3.3 with a goal. Suter, 1.3. Jágr again, 5.3. And then Schneider got me another win. And Corey Crawford got me a win and a shutout. So there's 9 points right there, just alone from Corey Crawford. And then my 2 guys on the bench. I think Miller had a couple guys on the bench. No, he almost had his full entire squad playing except for his goaltender. I mean, for one defenseman. So... Landy, 1.8. Mark Stone, 2.5. Ryan O'Reilly had a good night from him with 8.3. But then look at this. Derek Stabon, Hemsky, and Fowler, nothing. Phaneuf and Franzen again. Franzen back-to-back nights, one was 10 points apiece. Huberdeau, 4.8. And then Lundqvist got the loss there, which was an overtime, a shootout loss. So he got 1 point extra for Lundqvist, but then Antti Niemi didn't start against Florida. So he did not get any points from Niemi there. And that's when I took a big lead in this and on the 24th, putting up 38.3 points. And then on the 25th, once again, just kind of hoping that my players just, keep it basic with some points because he only had 3 players playing, and he would have to have some really tremendous nights from all of them, and my players still put up the points. Kopitar, back-to-back nights of over 2.5 fantasy points, so I appreciate that. Shifley and the Drew Stafford, man. Drew Stafford has been one of my most underrated pickups so far this year. I auto-drafted him. I got auto-drafted. I wanted to pick up Silverberg. I haven't even considered picking up Jacob Silverberg now because the Ducks have been mediocre. But look at the point totals that Drew Stafford has been putting up as of recently. Sure, he's had 3 mediocre games, but the past 3 games have been good. 4, 3, 6.3. Drew Stafford is a beauty so far this year. 6.3 points with 2 goals, 4 shots on net, 1 hit, a game-winning goal too. So... appreciate that from Drew Stafford. And then that was that game where the Jets and the Wild were in like a like a firefight, I guess you could say. A firefight. I don't know what the hell it is. A barn burner? I don't know what the freaking term is. But anyway, that was a 5-4 game. The Jets were up like 5-1, and the Wild fought back. Suter got me 1.3. None of my 10D started. Then Miller, like I said, he would need some really big nights. But Stepan, 0.5. Yakupov, 2.5. Trouba, 2.8. None of his goaltenders started. And that's how we would walk away with the win, finishing 133-118. Very nice win over Miller to go to 3-0. So if we take a look at the standings so far in the divisions, in the Hut division, we have Best NHL Clips on top with 3-0. Clappy's right behind him at 2-1. Then Miller's in third with 1-1-1. B-Synced and Slyman are both at 1-2, and Canadian Duke is at 0-3. And then in my division, we got me up at the top at 3-0. Richard Head's right behind me at 2-1. Deke and Spencer tied for third at 2-1. And then Real Sykes and X-Tech are unfortunately at 0-3. So that's how the weekly thing does match up here. I'll show you guys the weekly matchups here for week number 4. So we got me going up against Slyman, MillerTimeGames going up against X-Tech, Clappy against B-Sync, Richard Head against Deke, Real Sykes against Spence, and then Duke against Best NHL Clips. So the stats wise, Clips does have a very good chance here to go to 4-0, and Slime, me versus Slime. He does have some pretty decent players going up against him, on his team. He has a lot of Rangers players because he is a Rangers fan, so I'm hoping the Rangers don't have a very good week. But then, yeah, that's how it matches up for us right now. I'm trying to figure out when me and Best NHL Clips go up against each other. So I play Clappy week 5. When is going to be our first matchup against NHL Clips? Ooh, man, it's going to be a while since we match. Don't we play? There it is. So we don't play till week 8. So we have 4 more weeks until we play. So it'll be interesting to see if we're still undefeated by then. It's going to be interesting to see if we can manage to be undefeated all the way up until then. But until then, we're rocking out pretty well here. I'll show you guys the free agents that are currently on the available right now with the most point totals. So Stepniak's been playing actually pretty good for the Devils, so that might be somebody interested. But other than that, Jenner, Zucker, Hayes, Boschman, Desharnais, Miller. You know, there's a couple of interesting guys that are definitely up there. They're playing today, so if you guys have any suggestions, maybe I could pick up or drop somebody off. Like I said, Kopitar and Marian Hossa are definitely 2 players I might be considered trading very soon. Let me see. Goaltenders, there ain't but good goaltenders right up there. Neuwirth, but he's day-to-day. Cam Ward's up there, but I think Eddie Lack has been getting a decent amount of starts, but Cam Ward's up there for tendies. I have no issues with my tendies right now with Schneider and Crawford, so other than that, everybody else seems to be pretty decent on the goaltending-wise. Nobody really worth picking up, in my personal opinion, for goaltenders, and then I'll just sort it up by defenses so you guys can see just some of the defensemen that are available down there. So, thanks for watching, guys. We currently set it. Okay, guys, sorry about that. My mic cut out there, unfortunately, at the end of the video. So, like I said, we are currently at 0-3, and we're playing pretty good right now in the Fantasy League. My players are doing their jobs, and hopefully that does continue going here into week number 4. So, thanks, guys, for watching. If you did enjoy, leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe as always. And I'll see you guys next week for our week 4 recap.